Cut. Oh, baby, that's some good dragon show. Zach, hello.
Oh, did you fall off the dragon?
That joke was even funnier the second time.
Well, it's gonna be a recurring nightmare here. Speaking of recurring nightmares, the House of the Dragon.
Zach, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the first episode of House of the Dragon dropped this past Sunday.
It did.
And Zach, it was really good.
I like how the acronym that is being given to it by George R. R. Martin himself is Hot D.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
You know I love some Hot D.
Yeah, we all love Hot D here.
None of us has enough Hot D in our lives.
That's right, Bad Dragon, sponsor us.
Yeah. We can talk about the Good Dragon. We can talk about the Good Dragon show, or we can talk about the Hot D.
I think we're one episode in, right? It's a little presumptuous to call it the Good Dragon show.
It's definitely
They've got a lot of room left to crash.
You're absolutely right, but that was a pretty good dragon episode.
I enjoyed it, although I do have some complaints, as I always do. But I will gladly get into those when we get further into the discussion. But I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of this season.
All right.
They've definitely set themselves up for success. Is my spoiler-free review is cautiously optimistic.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Hold on, before we do that, turns to camera one. It's not recording, but it's set up in the corner. Turns to camera one. Hey, everybody. Please smash that like button and hit the bell icon and subscribe. Because
that's right. Remember to like and comment and subscribe.
Because that's the only way to keep getting top tier content like this. Remember to hit the bell icon. Otherwise, YouTube won't recommend our videos. But that's okay. They're nerds anyway. Zach, we are 2 minutes and 32 seconds into this episode. This is a bad intro. Let's be clear about that.
Comment, subscribe, and post this in every single Discord server that you're in, as well as every subreddit, regardless of the subject matter of those servers and or subreddits. Remember to tweet out this episode and tag the current U.S. president, the current U.S. vice president, your favorite director, your favorite musician, and let's say IKEA.
IKEA and T-Pain.
T-Pain, yeah.
Yeah.
Ask them why they're not collaborating as well.
Yeah, will someone in the comments please get on will someone please investigate why T-Pain and IKEA haven't collaborated yet?
It really feels like a missed opportunity for both of
them. IKEA is my favorite brand of car. Oh my god. Zach, we're 3 minutes and 33 seconds into this intro, okay?
Yes.
For the next minute and a half, spoiler-free, no swear words review. Go.
This is not a Game of Thrones. This is a show that has a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. Sometimes it wants to stand on its own, and other times it wants to cash in on the good seasons of Game of Thrones nostalgia. I'm interested to see which one it lands down on. And if you look in the description, there is a Kickstarter we're doing to buy a back brace for Matt Smith after carrying that episode.
How dare you talk about Paddy Considine like that? How dare you? How dare you? Go to the bathroom right now, wash your mouth out right now. Matt and I will talk about A Song of Ice and Fire.
Matt Smith or Matt, my roommate.
Yes.
Who has not watched it.
I actually have Matt Smith with me right now.
Matt, welcome to the show. Matt Smith comes in and talks about today's sponsor, Bad Dragon.
Zach, with 5 seconds left, anything more you want to say?
5 seconds left until we can swear and go.
I'm just kidding. I don't fucking care. That was the best fucking Game of Thrones content we've gotten in like 6 fucking years, bro. Holy shit. Spoilers are just happening now, okay? Spoilers are just happening. We're just fucking going. All right? Let's go. Zach, I have a list of shit to talk about. You got a list of shit to talk about?
I do have a list of shit to talk about.
I took notes. I took fucking notes. I hogged out of my fucking gourd. Did you see the fucking dragons, dude?
I did see the dragons.
Holy shit!
Okay. Can I go into my I studied film in college little thing here? You can say no and I can save it for later. That's fine.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you know what I really want during my pogged out fucking dragon show episode, Zach? I really want cinematographic inquiries.
There's got to be like a balance here, right? It's like a twist ice cream.
You talk about how the small council scenes were shot really weird, and I'll talk about how the small council scenes made me actually want to go back and rewatch Game of Thrones.
I mean, there are definitely parts of this made me want to rewatch Game of Thrones. What I want to talk about is people who made this and give like some shout outs actually a little bit. So the director for this directed the new Conan, I'm pretty sure.
Is that Ryan Condal?
Yes. Ryan Condal.
Ryan Condal. Condal?
Ryan Condal wrote no, Hercules. Sorry, he didn't do Conan. He did Hercules.
Zach, am I really gonna have to carry the hype for this episode?
Yes,
you're over here fact checking the Greek mythology show.
Sports commentary, Tom. You ever watch sports commentary? They have one person who's like, "Oh my god!" and touchdown. The other person's like, "That was a great throw by Allen. You can really see the improvement in his aim." That's how it works, Tom.
No, I'll tell you how it works. People get their dicks chopped off on screen. That's how it works.
That was a bold choice. I don't know if it's a great choice, but it sure was a bold one.
It was incredible. It was incredible. This show made me sympathize with a person who cut somebody's dick off on screen.
Yeah, I mean, look, I always sympathize with Ramsey Bolton.
Anyone who hasn't read the books, if you think this has a happy ending, etc., etc.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Zach, you want to talk about a thing? Go. Talk about a thing. Hercules.
Okay.
Hercules show. We're talking about that.
2014 Hercules with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and also Rampage with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Meaning, maybe in House of the Dragon, we'll get Dwayne The Rock Johnson showing up.
Hold on.
Would be great.
Dwayne John. I can spell Dwayne Johnson. Hot D. Let's see if I have to censor that. Oh no, it's just attractive pictures of Dwayne Johnson.
You typed height.
Oh, that's probably for the best, to be honest.
Yeah, seeing pictures of his hot D. Yeah.
His Ray William Johnson.
His Ray William Johnson, yes. That'd be great. But
Dwayne the Ray William Johnson Johnson.
my name is Dwayne The Rock Ray William Johnson. Yes.
With you will be doing your mom. Anyway, Zach, we got to move past memes from 2008 and get on to the memes from 2011.
Okay, well let me go back to what I was saying. The director of this episode was a director on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It was the person who directed some episodes people very much like, but he also directed some episodes people very much don't like. It's Miguel
Sapochnik. Yeah, I know. Miguel Sapochnik. There he is. There he is. What a handsome man.
Famous for making The Battle of the Bastards and The Winds of Winter. I know people really like those episodes. I'm lukewarm on them. They're definitely the better episodes of Season 6, but I have a lot of problems with Season 6 in a general sense.
Battle of the Bastards is great, and I will fight you this episode.
That's all right, because you're not going to contest that we have some problems with the fact he directed The Long Night and the Bells. If you had to name what are the 2 worst episodes of the Bad Dragon Show, it would be those 2.
Those are the 2 worst episodes. Zach, you got 10 seconds left.
That's all I want to talk about. I just wanted to give context. I always want to shout out the writer and the director. I want to say that this is definitely closer to the Battle of the Bastards and the Winds of Winter than it is to the Bells and the Long Night.
Zach, go fuck yourself. It was better than any episode in season 1. Fucking fight me.
This fucking was not better than the first
fight me.
Of season 1 of Game of Thrones, and I will fight you.
We're about to sit here and dude, we got fantasy intrigue, fantasy political intrigue for the first time since like season 5. It was amazing.
Yes.
It was incredible. I was so pogged out of my head. Oh no. You wasted your intro talking about Hercules, directed by Ryan Condal. I'm taking over now, motherfucker. Taxis. Zach, there were dragons on the screen.
Tom, this is like somebody who just got out of an abusive relationship and went on one normal date and was like, I've met the love of my life.
Oh, no. This is someone who just got out of an abusive relationship and then went to Lasertron. I'm so full of adrenaline right now, dude. I'm not saying we're forever, but I'm saying it's gonna be a fun night. Let's go. Let's talk about Otto Hightower. Let's talk about Orlys Valerian, who's awesome, by the way. Let's talk about. All right. I got to address some stuff, all right? I'm turning into camera 3. Okay, turning to camera 3. That's where the audience is. Hello, camera 3. How you doing? Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what this series is going to be, because for the next 10 weeks, we're going to sit here and either dunk on, hog about, or both the new Game of Thrones. Okay. But we're gonna do it from like within certain parameters, okay? Zach, I don't know about you, but I like liking stuff. And
I enjoy liking stuff.
I have seen some people dunking on this show for the things that they didn't get to see. And that's a problem with this fandom in particular, right? We all get our hopes up for specific things, right? There's a certain contingent, this is kind of a meme, there's a certain contingent of people who are going to hate the Winds of Winter no matter what happens because it's not going to be what they wanted, right? It's not going to be the thing that they have in their head. There are people who are mad about this show because it's not Game of Thrones. No, it's a different show. There are people who are mad that we didn't get a full Great Council scene. Fuck those guys. Fuck those guys. Fuck those guys.
But if I can pivot away here, because you might not be aware of this, Tom, be the co-host on the show.
Zach, no, I'm counting. I got another 35 seconds.
Go for it.
Okay. So turns to camera 2, right? We Zach, you and I embody sort of this fandom to a certain extent, right? And we're in a weird position where we want this really, really, really bad. So Zach, and tell me your thoughts about this. I intend to analyze this for what it is, not what I want it to be.
I'm glad you handed it off for there, because it's exactly what I was going to say.
I
think having read through the source material, expecting this show to be exactly like Game of Thrones is a mistake, because the source material is so radically different. I was explaining this to a friend who had, I had mentioned, I watched the show, the first episode, that the thing that's interesting about the book is that the narrative itself is part of the, enjoyment. The Song of Ice and Fire books are novels, and it's very specifically about what the characters are dealing with at that particular time. Fire and Blood is a history book, and it's a history book where, and this is something I know we don't like to give out information about ourselves, but we're both students of history to some extent.
Yes. By the way,
we both had to write assignments that required us to do historical research in our past.
Very light interjection. I want to come back to that point all the way at the end of this episode, because that is related to that point is my one real major criticism of the episode. Please continue.
The book has some wonderful little things. One of my favorite parts of the book that I've listened to thus far, because I'm still not done, but one of my favorite parts is the historian who's presenting the book talks about how some of the stuff they got is from a source they consider unreliable that has various different versions, and it was written for entertainment purposes and not for a historical account, but it is as good as they could get for like one aspect of, I believe it's King Jaehaerys's role.
You're talking about the one written by the Septa.
The one written by it's the one with
a caution for young girls or something like that.
A caution for young girls, yes.
Yeah. So
there's a whole little diatribe. Like, I don't know how much I trust this source, and even this source itself like has 5 different versions, some of which are edited down to be less crude, and other ones which like read like erotica. Yeah.
Yep. And there's 2 examples of that. There's that one, and there are the accounts from within Rhaenyra's court by the Jester Mushroom, which are like almost by definition untrustworthy because they're all like super horny. And
you
like
were to be salacious and like really romanticize the conflict.
Yeah. The 3 major sources for like the war itself, spoilers by the way, it's gonna be a war, are Mushroom, a Maester, and a Septon, and they all have their own agendas. The Maester and the Septon are writing after the fact, in an effort to curry favor in part with the ruling Targaryens. So they are more inclined to write the losing Targaryens in a bad light. So the whole business is untrustworthy from the get-go. Is that what you were trying to get at?
Yeah. Yes, and also like this is one of the things where I think the show can do a lot of things different than a Game of Thrones. It will lead to some differences in the narrative and the presentation, but I feel like they will benefit from leaning into that, which is like playing more for a like greater conspiracy underneath it. Having characters, this is something I'll talk about when we talk more about characters. Is characters I want them to focus more on in the next episodes, because I think before we get into any spoilers, I think it's very likely by the time we get to episode 2 there will be a considerable time jump.
You're pinning that between now and episode 2. I was pinning that between 2 and 3.
I think it's likely that there's either like the beginning of next episodes after the time jump, because they got the most important thing out of the way. Like, for sure. And I think they could time jump now and introduce a new character. It'll be a really sad... I know there's a character that must needs be introduced who is not born yet. Spoilers. Who, like, if we cut and he's just there, like, with little explanation, I think that would actually be a really good thing from a narrative perspective, so it would, like, help us relate to one of the characters. But that's just my 2 cents.
Zach, I'm inclined to, at this moment, remove the spoiler cap. No, you're right. We'll keep talking about the episode, the blanket spoilers for the episode, but not necessarily spoilers for the rest of the series.
Correct. I would agree.
We'll come back to that at the end.
Next best thing we can do. Why don't we go scene by scene and talk about like how we felt about it?
Sure. You tell me a scene you like, and then I'll yell about it.
I think literally we go from beginning to end and just talk about how we felt about everything as it happened.
Sorry, I'm real high on Dragon Show, so unless you have the wiki pulled up, let's just take another hit.
I have the episode. How's the Dragon episodes? Heirs of the Dragon. So I want to talk about the prologue at Harrenhal.
Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about the prologue at Harrenhal.
When this came on,
you really want to do this in a calm, organized fashion like everybody else? Fuck that.
There's a reason people do it like that.
Yeah, because they're boring. How about this sentence, Zach? If I had a nickel for every dark, brooding brother named Damon, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
It's not really weird that it happened twice.
I hate you. I hate you in every... I'm putting another mark on the whiteboard. It's right next to me.
It's a good meme. It's a good meme. However, if you name your kid Damon, I feel like when they end up being an edgelord, you can't really be surprised, can you?
No, don't show me Damon Salvatore. Fine, show me Damon Salvatore. Oh, I think I'm spoiling Damon Salvatore. Oh, no. I think I spoiled death of Damon Salvatore there. Oops, sorry. Well,
Vampire Diaries. He dies. Cool.
Damon Targaryen. That looks like... There he is. There's Matt Smith. Look at that handsome face. Zach, look at my screen right now. Look at that fucking helmet.
That is a good helmet.
Look at that fun. Let's talk about costumes, Zach. I want to talk about costumes. You try to guide us through this episode scene by scene, please. I fucking dare you.
If you want this show to be nothing but incoherent rambling, you can do that.
That's what the people come for.
I suppose.
One more piece from in that rant at the beginning. This is actually an important one. So if we as nerds, you and I are aggressively positive most of the time, and I'm super fucking pogged about this. And if you're not pogged, okay, you don't have to be pogged. But if you're around to dunk if you're around to dunk on things that other people like for the sake of dunking on things that other people like, this isn't directed at you, Zach. This is directed at all the fucking nerds. You can get the motherfuck out of my comment section. I'm talking specifically to the people who are mad that Corlys Velaryon is black. I'll fucking fight every one of you. All of you. Steve Toussaint.
All you have to do is say, his mom was probably from the Summer Islands, and you can explain it.
I fully 100% do not fucking care, right? I don't care. They want to make it so that so that his parents one of his parents is Summer Islander. Fine. You want to make it so that the Valyrian families, there's different sub ethnicities within old Valyria. Fucking fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. You want to just retcon Targaryen, Valyrian pale skin? Fuck yeah. It's a different show. Retcon it. I don't give a shit. Fine.
It's not like we saw any Valyrians in Game of Thrones anyways, so who cares? Yeah, exactly. Also, I have to say, out of all the characters in the show, I thought that besides Matt Smith, Steve, I can't pronounce his name. Toussaint?
I assume it's the French Toussaint, but I don't know for sure.
I am comically bad at pronouncing anything in French. If you pull up a French sentence, I will butcher it. But I will gladly do that for our audience.
Will you please say omelette du fromage?
Omelette du fromage. Look, I watched Dexter as a kid.
I don't know if anybody has Dexter on their bingo card, but if you do, go ahead and poke that.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, besides Matt Smith, Steve here was probably the best actor in this show. I loved his delivery when he had lines. The problem was they didn't give him a lot of lines, and they gave him lines that were mostly exposition dumps, which is a shame.
Yep.
Because I'm looking forward to this guy giving a big, important political speech. I think he's going to knock it out of the fucking park.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Mild spoilers for probably episode 3 of this season. He and Damon will be involved in a conflict, and I'm really excited to see how that conflict. I'm really excited to see his acting during that conflict.
I agree. I think him acting side by side with Matt Smith is going to be some of the peak content for this season. I think that is something I'm very much looking forward to.
Dude, agreed all day.
Some of the characters that I know are going to be really important, they picked pretty darn good actors. So I'm very happy about that.
However, I am going to disagree with you. So your pick for best actor who is not a former Doctor on Doctor Who is.
By the way, I should know I'm not that much of a Doctor Who guy, but I actually kind of want to go and watch some of the Matt Smith episodes.
They're pretty good, dude.
Like I watched some of the Eccleston stuff, and like that wasn't my cup of tea. And I watched a little bit of David Tennant, and like that really doesn't scratch a blood particularly for me either. But Matt Smith's acting is just really good, and I might like enjoy a show I might not like otherwise just to see his acting.
Zach, unironically, would you watch would you binge watch an entire season of Matt Smith Doctor Who with me while getting smashed on Cinnamon Whiskey?
There's a chance. I feel like I could definitely give it a go. I might still end up not liking it, but like I was incredibly impressed with his like screen presence. That man, the second you put him in front of the camera, like he just like sucks the like energy out of everybody else and projects it right towards you, the audience. It's like, yes, I'm in command of the scene. So putting him in statement was an ingenious casting choice.
All right, Zach. I think that these are both great takes. Corlys Velaryon for Actor of the Week and Matt Smith for Actor of the Week. But I have a contender here. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Paddy Considine.
Yeah.
In the books, Viserys Targaryen is really not all that interesting of a character. He's kind of boring. But there were two scenes, actually 3 scenes, where he was truly heartbreaking.
Yes.
You know the scenes I'm talking about. We're gonna have to talk about them, so I'm just gonna list them, right?
Go for it.
We have working from the end to the beginning. We have the scene at the end where he names Rhaenyra his heir. That was phenomenal.
Yes.
The scene where his ass throws Daemon out of the city. Where he stands up, where he's holding Blackfire, and he screams at Daemon from the throne, like the line, "You will address me as your grace, or I will have my Kingsguard tear out your tongue," is so good, right?
Yeah.
The small council scene right after Emma's death, where he's like, "My wife and son are dead. I will not suffer crows to feast upon their corpses." His voice broke during that scene. It was so good. And of course, let's not forget the scene where he was the second best actor, Emma's death scene.
Yes.
Damn.
It was a phenomenally well done scene. So, one thing I want to point out is that clearly, like, this is a problem with the source material that they're handling very well. The source material covers a very, very long time and is a historical account, so the scenes don't flow together like they do in A Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So this episode was always going to have some pacing difficulties, which in the very beginning, the pacing was like, whoa, hey, slow down there, Chief. But they did. And the first scene I truly loved in this episode was basically like Paddy Considine here getting a doctor's appointment. That was a very good scene, and that's what started to win me over.
Maybe I can find it here. Yeah, I know exactly the one you're talking about. You were talking about the scene where he's getting checked out by the Maester, and there's an infected cut on his back from the Iron Throne.
Yes.
And one of the things that Game of Thrones was famous for was scenes that accomplish multiple things.
That was the first scene that I feel like accomplished more than exposition in the episode, and I was very happy to see it.
Yep, it's ominous foreshadowing. It introduces the concept of the throne cutting you. It demonstrates that Viserys is not 100% healthy, and it demonstrates the sway that Otto and the Maesters have over Viserys.
And it also gives you a temperament of him and where he's at.
Sorry, go ahead.
It gives you, like, for the first time in that episode, you got a real this is what this character is like as a person, and in getting that, like, you learn, like, it's like a family that has some issues, because he talks about his wife and her pregnancy and all that. You can start to get the first hint of there's some the house is not completely in order with House Targaryen. Yeah. It's firmly established in that scene too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, light criticism here. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been grumpy about the first 3 minutes of the text followed by the exposition with Rhaenyra's voiceover, adult Rhaenyra's voiceover. And
yeah, I was not super thrilled with that, but I'm not gonna let the 3 minutes ruin the whole thing for me. I don't think the first 3 minutes is probably the weakest part of the episode.
Agreed, wholeheartedly. Yep. My response to that, to those people, is you are a Game of Thrones nerd. You know what the fuck's going on. Nobody else does, right? So that 3 minutes serves that 3 minutes serves like Galadriel's opening in Lord of the Rings, right? It's
a very Star Wars opening text crawl feel to it.
Yeah. Is that the strongest opening I've ever seen? No, but it was fine.
It was fine, and I think I feel if I'm gonna compare it to a Game of Thrones, I will say one thing Game of Thrones did very well was having characters like Robert and Kat who had reasons to bring up things that happened in the past that were personally relevant to them. Robert Baratheon is a drunk guy who reminisces about the good old days. So him getting liquored out and being like, "Hey Ned, remember the time I threw a rebellion in which I killed Rhaegar Targaryen, and then because he ran off with your sister, who I was going to marry, but then she died." Was perfectly natural for him to give all that information slowly, because that's who his character is. It's harder in this one because most of our main characters are tight-lipped political players. But that's why I want to talk about Matt Smith's character, Daemon Targaryen. He has a woman who owns a brothel who is his confidant.
Oh hell yeah, Lady Misery.
Lady Misery, yeah. I hope she becomes a serious major character, because she is the person who can have conversations, ask questions that the audience needs to ask, and I think she's a great way to get some of the information we need. And the actress who plays her is pretty damn good. The one scene she has was another scene where I'm starting to come around to this, her hyping up Daemon Targaryen there. Was a pretty good scene, and if she becomes a major focus character for the rest of the show, I think that will be to the benefit of the viewing audience, because it's just a great way to do a lot of information, is to have a character who's not super plugged in ask questions. It's a classic writing technique.
Yep. She is an outsider to this grand Targaryen family. Her saying to Daemon, "You are Daemon Targaryen, wielder of Dark Sister. You cannot be replaced." that doesn't read like exposition. That reads like a character in universe flexing knowledge on another character.
Yes.
It worked very well, and I thought it was awesome. Zach, let's talk about Zach. I want to talk about something.
Go for it.
Let's talk about dicks getting chopped up.
So the scene, I had a little bit of problem with lighting, how it was shot, and it also happened very quickly. I understand that that's good for some fight scenes, but I like I like narratively what this scene was.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Yep. I agree wholeheartedly. Please continue.
I think and I think this is true of every fight scene in here. Like, you get some really cool looking shots, but the way they're edited and strung together is a little frantic. There's definitely like a setup here of like there's a lot of tension and violence can just break out when people ignite it. And this is the first one where Daemon Targaryen comes in. He brings his guards with him, who are basically just thugs, and they go after the criminals in the streets, and they just dole out some pretty like grotesque and horrible punishments on these people. But like there's another scene later.
Process. I don't really do process.
What was that?
I said I don't really do process.
I don't really do process.
I don't really do process.
That's very clever.
Thank you, Zach. I thought of that one 2 days ago, and I wanted to share it with you.
I'm glad. I'm glad we held on to that one. I'm going to chew on that one for a while. It's going to the flavor's going to last. There's a scene where a fight breaks out in the tournament, which I haven't gotten that far in the book yet. Is that like historically accurate as far as the?
No. In fact, a lot of these. Oh, are you talking about the fight between him and Kristen Cole?
No, the brawl that breaks out.
No, I don't believe so. In fact, sorry, go ahead.
It didn't quite fit like structure-wise with what like the story. Like I like the tournament going on while the childbirth is happening. Narratively, I thought that was neat. But the fight breaking out felt a little fan servicey. It was like some of the shots were real nice, but it's just I like the implication there. I thought it could have been handled a little bit better, but like the implication of that scene and the dick chopping scene, phenomenal dick chopping scene, or at least that particular shot was phenomenal. The way it was strung together could use maybe a little bit of work, but the idea that there's a lot of tension here and violent fights can just break out in a second, I'm very happy with that idea.
Me
very
too.
happy with that being a thing that we see in future episodes. Is just suddenly like the violence happens when you wouldn't otherwise expect it.
So I didn't really think that the fight scene at the tournament was gratuitous. I thought that spoke to the lack of care and the lack of awareness, the out of touch nature of the Targaryens, that they fully don't care that this is happening. They are so far removed from the common people that none of them cares. And like fully none of them cared. And I think that not only did that serve as like a structural thing to be like, hey, like, this is Game of Thrones, and not only is there going to be gore, there's also going to be a different kind of what's the turn of phrase I want to use here, Zach? Medical horror? Is that a good turn of phrase?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
We'll come back to that in a minute. But I thought that the Daemon Targaryen's roundup, the Daemon Targaryen roundup was phenomenal. Like, it was really quick and really confusing. and we ran through it so fast that the audience didn't have a chance to breathe until there was a head on a spike in front of them. And then the next scene was amazing because literally the next shot is Otto and Viserys walking into the small council chambers, and Otto is like, we have to stop your brother. He can't be allowed to act with impunity. He looks over, and there is Daemon Targaryen in full plate armor, sitting in his council seat, saying, No, Lord Hand, please go on. You were saying something about my impunity, I could have sworn. It was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Zach, I'd like to...
I think my biggest issues with this episode, I'm going to stress, I did quite enjoy this episode. Where it's very exposition heavy at the beginning, and the pacing is like super fast until you get to that tournament, basically.
Agreed.
Yeah, they're closed out.
I'm not inclined to levy that as that much of a criticism because, we talked about the stuff before the start of the series. They had to shotgun that shit into the first 3 minutes. But
they either to shotgun it or they had to find a way to organically have characters mention it, and there's a lot else they need to have them mention. I feel like filming some of it and showing it shows that certain characters were there. I think the biggest credit I can give to that opening scene is that it shows that Corlys Velaryon was there. All these people were there for this moment that shaped their perception of how politics works in Westeros.
It's also worth remembering that the scenes that we did see past the Great Council, the scenes that we did see are also adapted from a span in the book of 9 years. They condensed 9 years of Targaryen history into 2 weeks, right? Daemon arrives in the city. Daemon becomes captain of the City Watch. Daemon trains the City Watch. Emma dies. Rhaenyra is named heir. The tourney at Maidenpool. That wasn't even in King's Landing. That was in Maidenpool. All of that shit. None of that shit happened in the same 5-year span, right? And I think pretty well, all things considered, packed that shit in all together, and we had a full train, Zach. We could not fit anymore, but the train left the station and nobody was in the doorway.
I think maybe there's a way they could have put some more of this comes up later in dialogue, but the thing I was I'm gonna do a history sort of thing here. I find it interesting to find out which presidents in U.S. history knew each other, bumped into each other, because you wouldn't think some things. For example, both Rutherford B. Hayes and William McKinley served in the same unit in the Civil War.
Oh, B. Hayes.
Which means oh yes, O. B. Hayes. And they also probably could have met Ulysses S. Grant while they were serving. In my brain is interesting because William McKinley's VP was Teddy Roosevelt, and those areas don't feel especially close. But then I think, oh yeah, they kind of were. And then they give you different context for when Teddy Roosevelt was making all these big, sweeping, grand decisions. He knew that not that long ago his country was embroiled in Civil War. In very much the same way, I'm glad I can see Corlys Velaryon was there to watch his wife get passed over for succession, and he's going into these brooding, very tense era where Civil War could break out, with that knowledge permanently etched into the back of his brain.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we actually saw that scene as opposed to just hearing about it.
I'm inclined to agree. I'm not going to say that there's nothing I would change. For example, I think that I really would have liked to see a 15-minute Great Council scene. But
Yes.
I'm sure Sugar not upset about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's things that I wonder if would have been better if they had been changed. But, like, dude, the episode was a fucking 9 for me. It was great.
I think I'm somewhere between, maybe around an 8, maybe, which is still really good. Like, you don't complain when your kid comes home with straight B's on a report card.
Yeah, and we don't know what the end of the season is going to look like. Because at the end of the season, presumably, and not to spoil the books, by the end of this season, I think we're going to go through like 3 time jumps. By the time we get to the end of it, the pacing is going to be at a level that is easier to handle, I think.
Yeah, no, I said to myself when I watched this, if episode 1 is the best episode of this TV show, it's going to be awful. If this episode is the worst episode, it might be one of the best TV shows of all time. If it's about average, I'll still keep watching it and it'll be pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's going to be, like, if this is the baseline that they're setting, it's going to be at least pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And you know what? After what we
average, I'm looking forward to seeing what the high points look like.
After the most bad dragon episodes of television ever produced, we take an 8. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
My God, do I feel good about an 8. We saw the Dragon Pit. We saw Dragon Keeper, Zach. Okay, all right. There's a whole bunch of shit I want to talk about. We're not done. For anybody who's watching and is like, I wonder if they're done talking. No, fuck it. Buckle up. We're going to be doing this for a while. Zach, look at my screen. Do you see my screen?
Let me see your screen.
See them crumbling fucking walls there?
Yeah.
That's Harrenhal.
Yeah, it is Harrenhal.
And that has me. Look at that. Oh, shit. That's so good. Oh, my God, that's so cool. Look at how big Harrenhal is. Whoo! Oh, my God. Okay. All right, Zach. All right. I'm gonna say some stuff. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's. Do you want something light or something heavy?
Go something heavy.
Let's talk about live on-screen C-sections.
I thought that was an incredibly well done scene. I thought that scene is what sold me on this episode, actually.
Yep.
It was in that moment more about the personal character drama. They cut back and forth between that and the attorney. At a certain point, I wanted to stop cutting to the attorney and focus on that, which admittedly at a certain point they also did give more of the focus to Queen Emma dying in childbirth, which was, like I said, incredibly well done. Live on air C-section, live medical procedure. Maester turns to the camera and says, "What you're watching right now is live, and sometimes bad things didn't happen. None of that happened."
No, Zach, please continue. Please continue that bit. I like.
What you're seeing now is live and can be very messy. And sometimes these medical stories don't have a happy ending. And then he plunged a dagger right into her belly, and it's like, man, that's a lot of blood. That's just a lot of blood. And there was a lot of blood.
Okay. All right. Can I give some thoughts about this scene?
Go for it.
Some of the best acting I've ever seen in my fucking life. Holy shit.
This is pretty good acting.
Let's start there, right? Emma Aaron's actor, whose name I do not even know. Emma Aaron's actor is incredible. She blew it out of the water. It was amazing. Paddy Considine was also in that scene, acting up a storm, trying to look like he didn't just order the brutal death of his wife. and she stole the scene. That was amazing.
I think the implication was she was probably dead anyways.
Ooh, Zach, I rewatched it. I rewatched that scene 3 times. It's ambiguous. It's
never explicitly stated. Yes.
Correct.
The Maesters certainly imply that she's probably not going to make it, but this is where I think near the end of the video we'll start getting into some theories that we have here.
Yeah.
That could mean a lot of things.
So the question is, did the Maesters what did Viserys understand? This is number 1. What did Viserys understand? Did Viserys understand you can save only one, meaning you have to choose between the mother and the child? Or can you only save the child and lose them both? It is, the Maester's sentences are ambiguous as to which one of those he means, and I think very intentionally so. To make Viserys not seem like a bad person, but a person capable of making truly, vilely, disgustingly immoral decisions. And then we have the other side of the issue of of Emma, who was literally not even spoken to. Literally didn't even talk to her about the issue. Viserys just said they're gonna bring the baby out now, and in this, in like 2 seconds of storytelling that even now, sitting here now, makes me sicker than the actual like cutting in and blood scene. The moment when they grabbed her legs and pulled her down, turning her from a person into a carrying case for a child. One of the best scenes I've ever seen in any piece of cinema. I don't even think that that's me just being hyped. That was really, really, really good.
Yes.
Not for the faint of heart, though.
Yeah, not for the faint of heart at all.
Like, Zach, thinking about that scene right now is like giving it, like, I am short of breath thinking of that scene, because that was like brutal in like in a clinical violence sort of way. That moment where she realized what was happening and started begging for her life.
Yes.
And then
whether they could actually give that to her or not, we don't know.
Exactly.
They never gave her that like input, basically.
Correct. Yep.
They never let her make the own decision of whether they would do that or not.
Yep. And
perhaps if they asked, she had a discussion, she might have like seen the value, but they just didn't give a shit.
Yep.
They just treated her like a baby container at a certain point.
Yep. And that takes Viserys from morally neutral to morally gray. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't have a lot of input on where he was morally, but like you can see him making a very dark and tough decision based on incomplete information that kills someone, that unambiguously kills his own wife.
Yes. Depending on the philosophical perspective that you want to take on the position, he ordered his wife's murder.
Yeah.
In front of her. With like 2 or 3 seconds of consideration. It was nuts. And like the intercutting between that and the turning, the intercutting between that and like this brutal down in the dirt fight, I think is supposed to be like thematic foreshadowing for the future conflict which is going to be battlefield brutal and also like internal family children brutal.
Yes.
Yeah. Go. There's my thought. Those are my thoughts on the most disturbing scene in all of Game of Thrones. There's a couple. We can talk about a couple exceptions, but holy fucking shit, I don't want to because that I'm 2 days later, I'm still reeling about it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop talking about that because I want to throw up because I keep thinking about how they actually cut open a pregnant person on. I thought they were going to cut away, Zach. I thought they were going to cut away. They didn't.
No, absolutely
They
not.
they sure did not. Holy shit. Okay, that's enough of that. Go watch the episode. Holy shit. Your turn. Let's talk about something you want. Let's talk about a thing. What's some shit you liked
Something I like.
or didn't like? We're deep enough in there. Is there something you didn't like? What'd you like? Tell me your feelings.
I want to talk about. That's a good question. I want to talk about the small council seats.
Oh fuck yeah! Oh hell yeah!
I thought the set design and direction was actually quite good on them. I think some people might have probably thought they were a little weird and a little cramped, but I like the idea of the small council being claustrophobic because I think if they continue that theme throughout the remainder of the show, it's going to be phenomenal for some tension brewing. Because my understanding is that there's going to be some pretty explosive small council meetings.
Hell yeah!
And I like the idea of it being like if you look at those on screen right now, that's a cramped ass frame.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we ever had a cramped looking small council meeting in Game of Thrones, or at the very least not that often. This frame has so much going on, and it's tense just because of that.
Hell yeah! Can I talk about some theming a little bit?
If you let me, the only complaint I have about small council scenes is that most of the dialogue in them was exposition, but I have a feeling that's not going to last, and we're going to get some very good small council scenes coming down the pipeline. I want to say, I made a comparison beforehand to the first episode of an anime called Fate Zero, which is all exposition, and then it just rolls from there. My feeling is that that is what this show will be like, and we'll have some small council scenes that really roll. And are quite awesome. But, yeah.
I pulled up pictures of Fate Zero. I've never watched it, but Zach says it's good.
It's one of my brother's favorite shows that he made me watch, and it's the only Fate show that's good. It's the only thing in the Fate universe you need to watch. If anybody in the comments says, no, there's other good Fate stuff, they're wrong. It's just Fate Zero. Fate Zero is good, and the rest of it's all right.
And if you disagree with that, post in the comments, minimum 500 words. Can I bounce off a couple of the small council things?
Please do.
I think, number one, I agree, I got exactly the same sense of claustrophobic tension from the small council scenes that you did. And I think that is thematically appropriate because of the way, that is supposed to be how politics in King's Landing feels. It's the Littlefinger thing, right? You are surrounded by smiling people with daggers in their hands. And that is exactly the sort of feeling that I got from the small council. And I really like your take about it being claustrophobic. I think that's a really good take.
Yeah. That is the way they shot it is meant to fill up the frame as much as possible, which is a great way to build tension. That's why you do close-ups and things such as that. Although you can also build tension with a really long shot, but it's a different way. Having all the people in there and having them so tightly packed together, when they have arguments later on that get real nasty, is going to be some really great cinematography. And I look forward to that. I look forward to those scenes being pleasant to watch.
Also, the internet is going kind of crazy about these little small council balls. I like the small council balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things where see him right here? Oh, go up there. Yeah, see him right here? Yeah, like when somebody sits down for the council meeting, like an attendant would come up and like set down the little council ball.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what significance that serves, but it was cute and I liked it. It was good. It was good, like entirely unexplained set dressing that made me very happy.
I agree.
In the same way
I
that
like the little tiny bits of world building that we get.
yeah.
Those make me happy.
Here's another one. The Dragon Keepers. I thought that their outfits and staffs. You're really not going to show me any Dragon Keepers? Well, the Dragon Keepers with their like outfits and staffs right at the beginning. I got the same kind of feeling from them. One more thought on the Great Council. I'm sorry, not the Great Council, the Small Council. One more little thing. You said that most of the dialogue was mostly exposition, and I agree with you, with the exception of the last scene, the emergency Great Council scene in the middle of the night.
Which is my favorite Great Council scene out of all of them by like a country mile.
Like, truly extraordinary. Like, everyone started talking about what to do about Viserys' dead wife in front of him. And like they sprinkled a little bit of exposition in there too, right? They're like, oh, like your wife, Lord Corlys. And that didn't feel like exposition. That felt like ratcheting the tension for Viserys' upcoming explosion.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then he exploded in like a couple of lines that I'm gonna remember for a long time. Oh, Zach, can I share with you something that makes me happy?
I would really like you to, yes.
We're at cons. We're gonna see Game of Thrones cosplays again.
Yes. That's for sure gonna happen. Hopefully they're pretty good. Although like it's gonna be a lot of people in white wigs.
I'm looking forward to the people in white dreads.
Oh, yes, white dreads. That'll be fun if anybody pulls it off. I would look forward to that.
It has been.
That might be one of my complaints, because my three biggest complaints came all in a row. And
okay.
My three biggest complaints are they completely rushed over the Great Council and just gave some like voiceover instead of just letting the scene play out.
Agreed.
My second complaint is the X amount of years before Daenerys Targaryen, like, come on, let the show fucking stand on its own. I don't give a shit about Dany at this point in time. And then immediately afterwards, we meet, oh goodness, I'm forgetting her name, Rhaenyra, or
Rhaenyra,
Flying Dragon?
On the back of motherfucking Syrax!
Yeah, that scene is great, except for she looks like, with the way that she has her hair done in that scene, she looks like a Daenerys Targaryen cosplayer.
She does. Oh yeah, you're talking about this one. Yep, this one right here. Yep. I think
that is you approaching a Dany cosplayer at a convention from behind.
That is a very reasonable criticism. And I think that the 172 years before Daenerys, I think that is also a reasonable criticism. I would like to get the thoughts of people who watched Game of Thrones casually, but aren't like book nerds. Before I render judgment on that, I want to get some more thoughts from them, because
that's fair.
Right, I don't need that and found it a little irritating, right? But maybe that is necessary for people who don't know what is going on.
Yeah. I think that's entirely possible. I think I'll jump into one of the segments I had here, which is and get your bingo cards ready. Better Call Saul just finished, which is my show, and it was also a prequel based on another TV series that like had a lot to memes. There's the 3D Self-Clip meme. I don't see the kid named Finger meme, but pretty much like
the thing I like about that show as a prequel is that it stood on its own while giving stuff that enhanced the story that comes after it. It takes place, the main thrust of the story takes place pretty much entirely before Breaking Bad, and it really, like, enhances a Breaking Bad watch, while also the story of it stands completely on its own, and you don't actually need. I have a friend right now who's never watched Breaking Bad, just watching Better Call Saul. I want people to be able to do that with House of the Dragon.
Zach,
I want somebody who's never watched Game of Thrones be able to watch House of the Dragon and have a good experience.
Zach, I want you to know that I'm not doing that, and I'm not your friend. I didn't like that joke, Zach. I'm sorry.
Ouch!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It was good. It was good.
No, it was mean.
funny.
It was mean, and I'm sorry.
It was mean and funny. It can be both.
This is fair. Zach, why don't I see this meme format more?
Oh. You know what? That's a good point.
When someone tells me they're thinking about starting Game of Thrones? So here's a fun little plug. In the description of this video, there is a place where you can send fan art and other stuff. So please give me some Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon memes in this format. Thanks, guys. You're the best. I'm talking to a couple of you in particular. You know who you are. Zach, do you have anything else to say about Better Call Saul?
Yeah, I will be. It was a slower start. I will be doing a check-in
At the end of the season, to compare, do a little more compare and contrast. I'm going to try and not laboriously compare it, but the other thing I wanted to say was the thing that I loved about that show the most was that the characters drove the action almost 100% of the time, and then there were like moments where like the action would catch up to them and it would drive the characters a little bit, but like they would spend a lot more time letting the characters like do a lot of things to set up, to brood a little bit, to plot, which is what I love about it. And I feel like if the writing is very good in this show, House of the Dragon will also be a show where we see the characters plot and brood and converse and do little bits of things that set up moments of really exciting action. And if that's the case, I know I see you bring up Otto Hightower already, who is somebody who absolutely, yeah. Otto Hightower could be the kind of character who does little things throughout, builds tension. We see his character motivations, we see his character actions, and that leads to major consequences. And I was thinking about that in that scene you just pulled the picture up of, where he sends his daughter to tend to the king after he is miserable.
Look at this
like,
smug fucking dick.
If we get a lot of scenes of Otto making his plans and chatting with people, and we see where he's coming from and what he wants and how he gets there, this will be a very, very good show.
Oh
so
my!
I'm hoping that this show ends up being a lot more character-driven. The first episode had a lot of things they had to get through, a lot of exposition, and I think they wanted to show off the action. I think they wanted to set the tone right away. I hope that as we get more and more into the core of the show, we get some more character-focused scenes, and I hope Otto Hightower is one of those people.
Yeah. Is it time to talk about Old Town conspiracies? No. We'll save that for the end of the season.
Time to jump into that. Yes.
We'll save it. Thank you for that excellent segment. Thank you for the House of the Dragon Better Call Saul segment. I would also like to start a segment.
Go for it.
This is really, really good takes I heard from people who are not Game of Thrones fans. Would you like to hear them? I heard two.
Go for it.
Quote, oh my god, it's a tree, it's one of them Stark trees.
One of them Stark trees.
One of them Stark trees. Oh no, I have 3. Oh, this is really cute. I hope that Rhaenyra and Alicent end up together.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
Uh-oh. And finally, holy shit, I hate the character of Otto Hightower. He's clearly a spy for the Triarchy.
That's an interesting take.
That's a great take, Zach. I see how they got there. Yeah. Zach, I'm going to make that a recurring segment. Can I make that a recurring segment? It makes me really happy.
Please make that a recurring segment. I want to.
Tom turns to camera 3. I'm not mocking any of those people. I'm mocking me and Zach for knowing too much about this fucking franchise. And I'm mocking you, too, for knowing too much about this fucking franchise. Dragon show! Dragon show! Zach, it's time to talk about the dragons.
It is time to talk about the dragons.
Syrax we already looked at. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Zach, I know how fucking fan servicing this scene was. See what I'm clicking on? See what I got here? I know. This bullshit fan service How to Train a Dragon ass scene. Did you just say the same thing?
Hive mind.
Did you just also say How to Train a Dragon ass?
How to Train Your Dragon ass. I said it at the same time as you.
That's
somehow.
So funny.
That's exactly what I thought when I watched the scene.
That's so funny. Oh, I can show you the world. Crimey, bloody, on fire. I know. Like, I actively, consciously tried not to let the scene take me in. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. I was losing my shit. I was losing my fucking mind. She did the curve and she flew up over the dragon pit and we got the scene from below of the citizens of King's Landing just walking around like this is a normal fucking thing they do. Just hanging out. It was great. It was amazing. It was incredible. And then, have any thoughts on Syrax before I move on to the best boy?
The dragons look pretty nice on the show.
Oh yeah.
I look forward to the more they're holding on a shot of them, the worse they look. But that's just CGI for you. When they're when they're in darkness and in motion, they're gonna look amazing. The Jurassic Park principle, really.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the fight scenes, they'll have plenty of opportunity to make them go fast and obscure them a little bit, whether it be with the nightfall or smoke or whatever. And we're gonna get some amazing. I think we're gonna get some Top Gun with dragons sort of scenes in the show, which I am very excited for.
You haven't gotten to this point in the book. There is a particular battle. You know what? We will do a mass. What do you say, Zach? The end of the season. After the end of the season, we can do a mass spoiler video, right? We'll talk about all of the implications with discussions of the books. We'll talk about all that then.
Yeah. I say go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Dude, looking at this picture, I know that it's CGI, and if I really stare at it, I can tell that it's CGI, but, I lean back a little bit, and that's a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
It looks better than the dragons in Game of Thrones ever did.
I would agree with that.
All right, Zach, you ready? You ready for Daemon's dragon, the bloodworm, Caraxes? Holy shit! Holy shit! Look at it! Oh my god, look at that fucking thing! Oh my god, look at him grinning! Look at him grinning like Deathwing! Oh my god!
I do. I like I like everything they got going with Matt Smith. I know we already talked about how great Matt Smith is in this. I feel the need to just shout him out again. He is going to play presumably a character I very much enjoy watching on screen. I hope we get more characters with diverse perspectives. I hope we get Mushroom. I hope we get all these different characters. But I'm really glad we have one guy who's just kind of a dick and self-centered. But he's clearly got more going on than just that. But the fact that he is really self-centered and has a big dragon is going to lead to some entertaining scenes.
I like the character of Daemon because he is self-centered and he is a dick. But and I'm curious to know what you think of this. If I'm reading too much into it, he's a selfish dick who really actually does care about his brother.
I think yeah.
Like that banishment scene, it felt so sincere.
Evil. Yeah, he's not evil. He's and then this is something that I like. This is why I hope we get more of this character. This is something that gets explored a lot in a lot of media I like. We can harken back to Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. Evil and mean and criminal and all these things that get bundled together usually. Not necessarily the case. One of the best characters in the Breaking Bad Better Call Saul universe is very much a criminal, but he's not really all that mean, and he by comparison to the show, he's not really all that bad either.
Who are we talking about?
What was that?
Who are we talking about? I'll bring the picture up.
Mike Ehrmantraut.
Mike Ehrmantraut. Oh, is that this guy?
Yeah.
Hey, that's this guy.
Kid named Finger meme. There he is. But he's not a bad person. Sort of. He works in crime. He's okay with killing people, but he has he only ever really kills other criminals for the most part, people who are involved in criminal conspiracies. He can be a fucking dick to other criminals, but he's nothing but nice otherwise, and he does not relish in it. He's not evil in your traditional sense, and getting that sort of complexity there, just throwing some ambiguity between your typical villain archetype is something I expect this show to do a lot of, and I expect Matt Smith to be maybe almost sort of the opposite of this character, where he's working for what we might consider a more good cause, but in a way that's maybe a little cruel and dickish, and he's doing maybe the right thing, maybe his heart's in the right place. That was actually more of a Saul Goodman sort of thing. Maybe his heart's in the right place, but God, the way he does it.
Yeah, maybe he's doing immoral things for the right reasons and being a huge fucking asshole. Now, I want to just to head off this comment. We say good guy. Zach, I think we can have an interesting, and we will. It's somewhere near the end of the season. We're going to have a very good conversation about whether there are any good guys in this story. But for right now, I think that's another good take. Yeah. Zach, I appreciated that tangent, that sidebar, but we're coming back to Caraxes because I like him.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, if nothing else, I expect good dragon action scenes from the show.
There's going to be such good dragons. Zach, there's going to be such bad dragon fights. There's going to be fights between good dragons and sometimes bad dragons and bad dragons. Like a lightsaber duel. Caraxes' hind legs, please. So here's a cool thing about Caraxes. Caraxes, they decided in the show to make all the dragons like really, really unique, and I think that that's a wonderful decision. And I'm not seeing them here. There's one scene in particular where you can see them. Caraxes is like malformed. He doesn't look the way that most other dragons do. As you can see, he has a really, yeah, you can kind of see him right here. He has an unnaturally long neck, and his hind legs have like vestigial wings on them.
Yeah.
So like he kind of like when he took off right at the end of the episode, when he took off with Daemon and Miss Arya on his back, he kind of looked like a fucking sugar glider, and I thought it was adorable. Zach, I love dragons so much.
Me too.
I'm so excited. Look at him. Look at him. He's so pretty. He's so pretty. Hold on, I want to find a high quality image. Oh my god. No one will be seated while I actually do look for the best image of Caraxes, so that I can open it in a new tab. We can look at him. Yeah, there we go. Please open image in new tab. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Come on. Oh my god, look at him. He's so good. He's so scary. Look at him grinning. Zach, look at him grinning. Oh, you see what I mean? You see what I mean about the hind legs down here?
What was that?
So you see what I mean about the hind legs down here? He's got like he's got wings on his hind legs. Oh god. Oh my god, he's terrifying. Okay, all right, that's enough. I'm sorry for the Caraxes sidebar. I'm sorry. I have been excited about that scene in particular for days. All right. Okay, I'm going back to my notes. I think that I'm pretty close to done. There's a couple more things I wanted to talk about. You want to take a turn?
I think like all the things I really wanted to focus on, I think we covered. I also don't know how long this episode is so far. Feels like it's been a wee bit, but I think like all the things I really wanted to go in depth about, we've chatted about.
All right.
Just sort of jumping around.
I got two more things. One small thing, and the other is that actual big problem that I had with the episode. The small thing, Zach. Well, I say small thing. It's actually pretty significant, all things considered. Zach, let's talk about gay shit.
Sure.
Let's get kind of gay. Tom leans in after just coming back from FlameCon in New York City, which was phenomenal, by the way. I had a wonderful time. Let's talk about the fact that they aged Rhaenyra up by like almost 10 years so that she is the same age as Alicent and that they have romantic chemistry? Question mark?
Yeah, they get flirty, which is going to be quite awkward later.
It is, yeah. The internet, by the way, is exploding over this.
I'm obviously cool with this. As we've discussed previously on this channel, my favorite episode of Star Trek is the lesbian kiss episode, just because it was really well written and really like meaningful for the characters, even if it doesn't really matter at the end. But like Star Trek problems. That like this is interesting though because like there's going to be conflict between a lot of these characters. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with them adding like some. I'm not going to say there was no romance completely in the book because I haven't gotten far enough, but certainly that's not what you would probably think of these two characters.
In the book, the age gap is so big that Alicent had already, I believe Alicent married her father at age 18 when Rhaenyra was 9. They were friendly but did not have even like a friendship relationship, right? They did not. It's not the case they didn't know each other, but they were not familiar. And they have changed that very significantly. Yeah, that's for sure. And I think that this is a really cool change plot-wise. I think it's awesome. It brings the conflict down to a human level because it's no longer a power-hungry dragon family fighting another half of that same power-hungry dragon family. It is two people who have real feelings for each other seriously considering fucking killing each other.
Yes.
And that is great. That's great.
I also like, cause I think it's going to add to another, like, big theme of the story that I was worried that, like, that would be all they would have. I'm worried that it was all they're going to focus on, but I'm glad to see it's not the case, but they're still finding interesting ways to incorporate it, and they're definitely, like, doing a lot of it, is feminism, the role of women in society.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And having the two of them know each other, be close, have a sort of relationship like that, and then having them be at odds with each other, potentially, and having, like, you know, and this is, like, not even spoilers for down the line, accident. So having Alicent flirt with her father, start to, like, be a little romantic with her father, is going to have some conversations about, you know, is that cool? Is she free to do that? Is that a legitimate way to gain power or not? And I think that might be like a crucial argument of the season. She's gonna say, "This is how I get more power. This is how I set myself up for success. Is to marry into it." And Rhaenyra might say, "Hey, that's kind of fucked up. Don't do that."
Yeah. Because Rhaenyra is the voice of not being fucking crazy, right? Like it fits really well thematically with Emma's death scene, which is all about like the agency of women in this universe. Emma, who is literally killed with neither choice nor conversation. So we're all going to need to have a conversation about, we're all going to need to discuss whether Alicent is doing this because she thinks it's a method of gaining power, or whether she feels pressured into it by her father, or some combination of the two.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, this might be a thing where, like, she'll be able to say, like, look how much I was able to gain by playing within the boundaries, too. Like, this is also, I think it's going to merge the themes quite well, because another major theme here is, like, what's a legitimate way to gain? It is why no one's correct means to do it. Obviously, the story is clearly headed towards war. There's a question that needs to be answered. I think that if you can use this storyline to merge those two themes together, it will be a really good year.
So this is the scene that we're talking about, right? Where Alicent shows up. This comes pretty direct from the book. Alicent used to read to old King Jaehaerys, and now she comes and reads to Viserys, right? In a scene that I was ready to feel disgusted by, but actually ended up, like, as long as you don't think about the implications, it actually ended up being kind of nice. A man, yeah, like it was like she was just like, "Hey, I'm sorry your wife's dead. Would you like me to read this book to you?"
It makes you understand how this like relationship starts in a way that's not like completely skeevy and cynical, right?
Yeah.
Like, it humanizes everybody involved, even if there is some like political scheming going on and some skeeviness going
on. There's another thing I want to talk about in this scene, Zach.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this. First off, I identify with Viserys Targaryen, who has the healthiest coping mechanisms of anyone in this universe.
Yes.
Right. He screamed. He wanted to go to bed. They woke him up. He screamed at his small council And then he went and like played with his model train set.
Yeah, he busted out his Legos.
Yep, I identify with you, Viserys. Furthermore, Zach...
There's a better coping mechanism than we've ever seen.
Correct.
That is true.
Furthermore...
Is it the best coping mechanism? No, but like for the franchise, like A+.
Yeah, like holy shit, dude, like I feel you, you know?
We grade out a curve, and this is the first coping mechanism we see that didn't have a body count.
Yeah. Tyrion Lannister chokes people with chains. Gregor Clegane kills people because he's got headaches, and Viserys plays with his Legos. Zach, one more thing about this scene. I believe it's been confirmed that he's building a model of old Valyria.
Nice.
And that makes me want to never stop looking at this.
Good, because maybe he has more information than we do. It gives us ideas of what old Valyria looked like.
Yeah! Like, look at this thing. What's this stuff? I don't know. A little temple? I don't know.
Secret entrance to a mine?
Right, this implies that Viserys Targaryen has a passable map and or painting of old Valyria.
Or he's making it up as he goes along, but he has like some sort of information.
Yeah.
That he's reasonably confident in.
Which I would also respect. Okay.
Yes.
All right, that's it for that scene. Okay. Zach, let's talk about the last scene in the show. Yeah, this one. This one here. You talk about it while I find a good picture.
What scene now? The Valerian candle thing, which is almost kind of culty and weird.
Yeah, it is kind of culty and weird. That's true.
They talk about how Valerian is the last living thing to see Valerian before the dome, which is kind of ominous.
Yeah.
That they talk about that.
Yep. And then during that conversation, Viserys names Rhaenyra his heir in a moment that is pretty touching. He's like, I wasted time wanting for a son when you were right in front of me, something like that.
Yes.
And then a motherfucker uses the word prophecy.
Yes. Yeah. Then the scene, I'd heard a rumor that was going to be in there. Happened.
I got a problem. I got a problem with that scene, Zach.
Tell me the problem with this scene.
I got a problem with that scene. So, he's like, hey, you're my heir. Also, Aegon Targaryen had a dream. And that's why he conquered Westeros. He had a dream about Season 8, Episode 3 of Game of Thrones. And seeing what a disaster that was from so far ahead, he decided that he needed to conquer Westeros to stop that from happening, I guess. I do not have a problem with tying in the Long Night to this show. It felt a little clunky, but I can get over it, right?
Yeah,
I can get it. You want to
irrelevant.
Yes. You want to ratchet up the stakes? Fine, right? You want the end of Game of Thrones to be relevant to this? I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. What I have a problem with is him saying this secret, Aegon Targaryen conquered Westeros to save the world, and we Targaryens carry on that legacy of saving the world. And Zach, I'm gonna rant here for a minute, okay?
Full. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Will you please give me the 30-second safe for work thesis of our Lost episode. You remember the Lost episode?
The Lost episode is that Valyria was a terrible place to live unless you're Valyrian. They exterminated people. They used slave labor. They were an oppressive regime. Unlike a fascist dictatorship, is how I would put it. And the idea was that there were other forces in the world that saw what was happening there. And the Doom of Valyria was basically last ditch, like we need to stop this. People like call it a nuclear weapon. I compared it to scrapped World War II's Operation Vegetarian. UK was going to basically due to Germany, like they would what happened to Valyria, completely uninhabitable, like a place where no one could live. By making it so that food couldn't grow there. Pretty much. And my idea was that is what happened to Valyria. Maybe it was the free cities that had been working with maybe the Maesters of the Citadel. Got rid of Valyria, but they also perhaps used a glass candle to Valyrian family out of there, so that some of the wonders of Valyria, most notably the dragons, could be brought over and saved and used for other people's purposes, while they still got rid of the giant, oppressive, fascist dragon empire.
So you're, first off, this is one of the most inspired things that we've ever come up with, and it's just like real heavy and really heavy. Yeah, it draws a lot from very dark points of real history. But George R. Martin does that as well. Yeah, George R. Martin does that as well. It was called. The nickname for the theory was called Paperclip. Operation Paperclip, where they at the end of World War II. At the end of World War II, they took German scientists. You're good at science. You also committed. You're good at science. You also. We're going to forget about that second part. We're going to forget about that second part. So I think that is such a good comparison. Your comparison of old Valyria, of Valyrian imperialism, to that empire that we're going to avoid naming directly because YouTube doesn't like it. Yes. Right. I think that comparison is really apt. They were disgusting slavers and racially motivated slavers. And Valyrians believed that they were a supreme people above the rest. That's the explanation. Yes, there's this whole is like, well, obviously, you gotta stick to breeding with other Valyrians. You gotta it comes from a place of a belief of their own superiority. And this does not stop at the doom of Valyria. There are similar themes in the Targaryen dynasty too. We saw a little bit of it in this most recent episode. The feeling that Targaryens are better than other people, that they are closer to gods than to men. That is very common thinking. And that sort of racially motivated sense of supremacy that these fiery conquerors embody makes them great, complicated antagonists. It makes Daenerys a great protagonist when she identifies this and strives to move against it. She brings back all the Valyrian stuff without, but does the opposite. She brings back the fire and the blood. She brings back the whole aesthetic of the Valyrians, but uses it to dismantle slavery and to prevent people from being exterminated. Zach, I have a problem with the implications of that prophecy that those are the good guys.
Yeah. I have a problem with Targaryens being good guys also. However,
I have a problem with
I
that.
think this could be a setup for a subversion. One, maybe they find out. Maybe there's like a we find out the Maesters sent that like dream in a glass candle, and it, like the entire prophecy was just a ruse to get dragons over there.
Oh, that's a good take.
Like the Maesters are very much aware of the others. And like they have to be, right? Like they're Maesters on the wall. There have to be like if Maesters do have like all this knowledge. They have to know the others exist. And this is all just a ploy to get dragons. Over there. But I don't know if they're going to go with that. I do have a problem with. The Targaryens are actually here to save the world. Because the Targaryens, something you can get from Fire and Blood book. The Targaryens on the whole, usually you get one that makes up for the rest of them. Occasionally you get one that makes up for the rest of them kind of sucking.
Right, like there are good Targaryens. Egg is a good example. Rhaegar might be a good example depending on what exactly his nature is. It's a little murky, but he at least at this point is not explicitly a bad Targaryen. And Daenerys is a good Targaryen.
Old King Jaehaerys. They say in the books that Aegon made the Seven Kingdoms, but Jaehaerys made them whole. And I think that
he was a good leader.
He was a good leader. People did not unnecessarily suffer underneath him. This is very much not the norm for Targaryen rulers.
And however, I should say, I have a problem with on the whole Targaryens being saviors. So this now I want to be really clear here. This does not sink the show for me because this could absolutely not be the case. And I think that it won't be the case because as you pointed out phenomenally in the in your Red Door theory video, the dragons are metaphors for weapons of war, for napalm. They are a brutal, destructive force. I don't think that George Martin would make them the good guy.
I agree.
However, I do think that they are going to be seen as good guys by a lot of the audience because of this. I am nervous and apprehensive about the way the story has suddenly been made very sensitive, even more sensitive than the rest of the stuff, right? Even more sensitive than the overt sexism throughout that we're discussing through the story, because it's really obvious which side of the sexism discussion the audience is on.
You don't need to be all that feminist.
Even more,
be more feminist than medieval era Europe.
It's really easy to root.
Easy bar to clear.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Incredibly easy bar to clear.
Yeah, all you need to do is not have the. all you need to do is not have the disposition of Lord Strong.
Yeah. Yes.
But the implications of the Targaryens as good guys after they set the field of fire ablaze and melted Harrenhal down to a person is a concerning one. That I find I find more philosophically interesting than almost anything else that we talked about today.
Yeah,
And for me, I don't know
We're
about
gonna get a real insight into the
Oh, go ahead, I'm
Targaryen
sorry.
family from this show, and to Valerians and like dragon riders in general, and they have a great opportunity to tell a story of like these people don't deserve to be rulers. These people hurt people unnecessarily, and while they can give us some great action scenes, I think they can also give us some great like wartime philosophy stories. And I would love to see them do that. I hope that's part of the show.
Yep, me too. I am apprehensive, but excited and interested. And I don't know about you, but that is going to be a lens through which I'm seeing this for the entire run of the show.
Yeah, I think this being a show about like war and whether the Targaryens are good at all for the Seven Kingdoms, and whether violence is a good way to achieve political success and questions about women's roles with a fantasy world with a feudalistic inheritance system. Or if those are the main themes, we could be. In for a very
very, very good show.
Absolutely. Zach, you want to do this again next week?
I'm committed to watching through the rest of the season. Incredibly profoundly bad happens. And if it does, I'll still record that.
I'll still record that episode.
Zach, I'm kind of pogged. I'm kind of excited. I'm strapped in.
Cautiously optimistic.
I hope.
I'm expecting it to be a good show. I don't think it'll be great, but I think it's a very good shot at being good. Maybe a couple episodes down the line, I'll revise that.
Yep. I am cautiously in the same position. I think it's going to be quite good, and I am hoping, like, I'm looking forward to episode 9. You know, the Game of Thrones formula, episode 9 of every season is the big climactic episode. I'm looking forward to episode 9, and if the rising action leads us where I think it's going to lead us, I'm very excited. But we'll regroup at the end of the season.
Yeah,
Zach?
we will.
We will.
End on a joke.
You'll end on a joke?
No, you'll end on a joke.
I'll
end on a joke?
Yeah.
House of Dragon, these nuts across your face.
That's it, Zach. Goodbye. Goodbye.